0.088 seconds. Faster than the human eye can blink, I think. I have no idea. That's the amount of time that separated us from running a 10-second quarter-mile pass in the 5,200-pound ugly truck on a stock, junkyard, unopened 8.1 big block. Now, granted, it did take like 20 pounds of boost to make that happen, but 0.088 seconds is agonizingly close to our goal of a 10-second pass. And I'm not giving up. Before the end of this year is out, hopefully if everything works out timing-wise, we're gonna get the ugly truck into the 10s in the quarter mile, and I'm not coming back for a 10.99. I wanna get this thing deep into the 10s, maybe a 10.5. I don't know, that's a pretty big gain, but we're gonna make it happen. But to do so, there's some things that we need to change on the truck. Now, there is a bit of a mismatch, and I think we can accomplish our goals without necessarily having to add any more power from where we're running at right now. And the big mismatch is just between the RPM range that the engine operates in and the gearing / torque converter in the transmission. Now, this engine makes its peak power at something like, it was like 42 or 4,300 RPM, but on the track, we've got to run this thing out to like 5,500 RPM. And the converter at that top of the track is slipping by about 1,500 RPM, I think. I'll have to go back and check my logs, but I am gonna be installing. You think they knew we were filming in here? Anyway, I am going to be changing the torque converter, probably switch to a triple disc lockup because that'll, help us really pull some mile an hour at the top end of the track. But the other mismatch is weight. This truck is 5,200 pounds with me in the driver's seat and about half or 3/4 of a tank of fuel. So today, in order to help us reach our goal of a 10-second pass, we've got to lose some weight from this truck. I probably should stop eating ice creams, and that means we're going to start on the interior. See, little silly stuff like this that I left in the truck, individually doesn't weigh a whole lot, but like jumper cables, I don't know, there's a pound. Sun visor, maybe another pound. So the biggest chunk of weight that we're going to be losing right off the bat is this back seat. I know it's pretty heavy, I'm not entirely sure how much, but I got a scale, so kind of curious to find out. All right, let's see. That is exactly 52 pounds. Not a bad start. So here's an interesting one. 3 floor mats, kind of heavier than you'd think. Come on, scale. £6 pounds. Got a bracket, but no jack. A lot of good that does. Now, you guys may laugh at me for this, but one thing I refuse to do is remove all these plastics from the interior. For some reason, I just feel like I hate staring at that. I know this is a race vehicle now, and we're gonna make it as light as we possibly can. And sure, there might be, another 10 or 15 pounds in the interior, or 20 or 30 even, but it just looks so much nicer when it's covered up with these factory panels. So when I design the roll cage and stuff, we are going to be building it around all the door panels and the plastics, and like I might even come in here at some point and get some of that like black universal carpet and just try to like put something on the back wall there, because you got to have standards, right? We can even still cover up the seatbelt that's not there. See ya. See, the only other bad thing about what we're doing right now, taking out the back seats and stuff, is now, like if I want to go for a ride with the family on a Friday night or something, we can't take the ugly truck. Come on. That is stuck in there. Can't take the Copo truck because that only has 2 seats anyway. So that's just another reason why I needed the Mustang. I know you guys don't love that car, but when you see what we have in mind for it, I think you'll like it a lot. I suppose that should go too. Kind of covers up some of the ugly, but actually kind of looks better without it, I guess. Another couple pounds. All right, in this one we have a pile of seat belts and that insulation stuff. It's 11 pounds. Not bad. All right, guys. This one kind of hurts my heart a little bit because we need to get rid of the Denali console. This is like one of my favorite upgrades I've done to the interior of the truck. I wired up the little trip computer so it works. It displays fuel mileage and all kinds of useless but kind of cool nerdy stuff. It's got this slot for a disc changer, which I was going to move my radio to so I could put my Holley digital dash up here. It's got like the cool hideaway cup holders and stuff like that, but this is a fairly heavy piece, and we're also converting the truck over to 4-wheel drive with a floor shifter, and I need that space where the console currently sits. I know you can notch those out. I have seen some guys do that, but I don't like how it looks, and again, it's kind of sort of heavy. So we're going to lose the console, but I am going to reinstall my original factory, just the short section of the console in its place, so I can put, you know, my tire pressure gauge and a bottle of water and stuff like that when I'm at the track. But hate to see this one go. Just gotta remember how it comes out. Like, I even got all the lights and everything working on this, all the plugs, all the outlets work. Sad to see this go. Not that I ever used any of that stuff, but still. What? That can't be right. 25. That right there is probably like 3 or 4 pounds. Yes, I remember now. It all comes back to me. Finally. So I think this is going to be a pretty good weight savings here too. Let's see. Turn on. The first half of the console weighs 18 pounds. Okay, so the total console weight, believe it or not, there's like 2 modules in there, there's some speakers, a lot of metal, lots of plastic. 43 pounds in total. But to be fair, it's all going to be replaced with all this stuff, which weighs 23 pounds. And I know that doesn't match, but this truck originally had a full-length console in it when I bought it. So for now, that's going here, and long-term I'll probably have a bracket. Like I mentioned, my Holly dash will probably be like right there. You couldn't believe how hard those are to find. And of course, we can't forget the most important thing you bring to the track, your tire pressure gauge. It's like a completely different truck now. Just because I'm curious, about 56 pounds. So one thing we haven't really talked about just yet is my goal for the finished race weight of this truck. I've talked about my power goals a million times. I want to make, with this engine right here, my 535 cubic inch Gen 7 big block, I want to make between 15 and 1700 horsepower, which I think is doable, but the goal for the weight of this truck is to be under 5,000 pounds when it's 100% complete. That includes the four-wheel drive conversion, the roll cage, and everything else that we have to change on this truck. Now, when I weighed it last spring, I haven't really made any changes to the weight other than what we just did. But when I weighed it last spring, it was 5,120 pounds. So we are somewhat close to that goal. And already today, just from the interior, we lost 90 pounds from the truck, which those 90 pounds might be just enough to make up that difference of 0.088 seconds. But before we get back to the track, I am going to be changing a few more things. The biggest struggle that I have, though, is just wrapping my head around the fact that this is kind of a race vehicle and I don't need a lot of street stuff on the inside of it. Like the door panels, the speakers, the carpet. I don't really need any of that stuff and it's just slowing me down. But I like the look of a finished door panel. I like the stereo because when we do a drag and drive, well, I want to have some tunes. You know, the carpet, it definitely doesn't have to be in there, but it just makes the truck look a little bit nicer. Future changes we are going to be doing on the inside, though. Eventually we will have a set of race seats, but I can't put those in just yet because the seat belt is in the seat and I don't have a roll cage to mount the harness to. And then when I build the cage and do all that, also I am going to gut the back side of the dashboard. I am going to leave the outsides of it, but I am going to take the HVAC stuff out from underneath. So we do have a lot of weight we can pull out of it yet to come, but also, we're going to be adding weight back in with the roll cage and the four-wheel drive and all that other stuff. A couple future mods that are going to help pull some weight out. The exhaust, that's one thing I'm going to do in the very near future, actually. We have a 4-inch full exhaust that goes from the turbo all the way to the back bumper, and I bet that thing weighs probably 100 pounds or more. So we're going to lose all of that, and we're going to lose our sleeper status a tiny bit, but I think you guys will like that. And then whenever we do our four-wheel drive conversion, for example, I just got these in. These are from Wicked Fabrications. They're a factory GM aluminum spindle, and just the spindle alone is quite a bit lighter than the factory cast iron ones. But We're also doing their tubular upper and lower control arms. Those should be here any day now. And then if you just consider going from a factory 4-wheel drive to their stuff, so you lose the torsion bar crossmember, the torsion bars, the upper and lower control arms, and the factory spindle, I think you lose like 150 pounds just from doing that conversion alone. So maybe we can make it. Maybe 5,000 pounds is doable. Basically a 4,800 pound truck that, yeah, I'm 200 pounds. But also we're gonna have a hard time doing it because it's like, there's a lot of work to go. So thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. If you want to learn more about that engine over there, our 1,500 horsepower big block, check out one more video if you don't mind. We are trying to reach 100,000 subs. That has been my goal for the last 2 years, and we are so very stinking close. So if you like the content that you see, do me a favor, click that little red button. That's all it takes. Thank you guys. I appreciate you, and come back soon for more cool truck stuff.